Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that all of you are having a great start to your week. This is an IELTS speaking part 1. The topic is about languages. Firstly, a bit of apologies there for the scheduling confusion for all of those who have been waiting a while. I appreciate your patience. Thank you, Carolina, our chat moderator, for joining this live IELTS session. Domenico, I hope you have a great lecture, seminar, workout. Anna, you're an amazing person. Always keep that in mind. Don't let others get you down. I read through the chat a little bit, and it's fantastic to see the camaraderie and support that you all show for each other. That is the way that humanity needs to go. So having said that, everybody, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, check us out there. For general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. aehelp.com looks like this with the blue background, and we will use this website in a little bit to speak with our viewers and to practice your English speaking. To join the premium version of this website, just click the big red button that's right above my head there. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We're an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. We're an IELTS test registration center. I'm a British Council agent. You're in great hands, everybody. For general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com with the green background. And again, you can click this big red button that's just above my head there to join the premium version of the course. When you do that, use the code IMAGINE9. Dream big, everybody. It's possible with the right attitude. IMAGINE9 will get you an extra 10% discount. That code is coming from our most recent video release on YouTube for the speaking section. Good luck, Ida Mughal, on your speaking test tomorrow. I hope it goes well. It's great that you're in this class picking up some last-minute tips for the speaking section. For those of you who would like to get our apps, visit your app store and check out Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. The apps will link to the websites. By the way, everybody, you can also purchase our apps and courses directly from YouTube by clicking on the shopping and going through the Shopify checkout provided by YouTube. We have this blog for you as well to help with speaking part 1 about hobbies. It's a very popular topic. I just put that into the chat there for you. Chayani, nice to see you in the class as well. All right, Akash, thanks for that. That's great. Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help. We've got lots of followers there, lots of videos for you, vocabulary tips. And then when you have questions, just send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. One of our partners, Adam, has published a book called IELTS Speaking Success on Amazon that has all 50 of the current IELTS Part 2 and 3 questions with some sample answers for you to get those high band scores. You can check that out. If you're interested in that, you can just email IELTSbandup@gmail.com to get yourself a PDF copy. Akash, 6 on speaking is a solid score. It means that you're a fluent user of the English language. Deadman Gaming, how to improve fluency? Speak lots and focus on giving explanations and examples to your responses. We'll talk more about that. Yeah, students, sorry again about that confusion with the scheduling a little bit. We just kind of stuck to the schedule that was here, which means it's starting right now, speaking part 1 for everybody. This is the correct schedule for tomorrow, so we'll do listening parts 3 and 4 for subscribers on YouTube a little bit earlier than this class, and then just slightly later than this class we'll do speaking part 2 and 3 for everybody, and that will be on our website, live streaming. So again, those websites that I showed you, they are very important, and we do live streaming on the websites as well. Okay, students, do check out this video when you have a moment in your day. It's a good one for you to practice and see some sample answers for those high band scores on the IELTS speaking. There's that video for you. All right, let's get into today's speaking session. And again, this is speaking, so do your best to speak and repeat. So copy what I say, copy how I say it, practice mimicking my intonation, pronunciation, fluency, and we'll just jump right in. So you are at your IELTS speaking exam. You showed up 1 hour early. You were speaking English with your peers. You stayed in English the whole time, making sure not to switch between languages. Very important. You registered. You're confident. You're brave. You are you. Just be you. And then you go into the exam room, and there's a friendly or not friendly, serious looking, happy looking examiner. Doesn't matter. You're there to do a job. You're there to get a great band score. And the examiner says, welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. We are currently conducting this exam in Odessa. The time right now is 14 o'clock. This is Exam Center 7YQ93, candidate number 99753218. And examiner number 9971. The speaking has 3 parts. I will give you instructions for each. Firstly, may I see your identification? As soon as you hear that question, give a nice full sentence answer. Look them in the eye and say, yes, of course. Here is my passport that I have used to register and check in. Please take a look. Okay, nice and fluent, everybody. All right, make sure to repeat. Copy what I say, copy how I say it. Okay, one more time. Yes, of course. Here's my passport that I have used to register and check in. Please have a look. Great. Okay. Don't say yeah, sure. Don't be shy. Don't say sure. Be you. Be strong. Okay. All right. Hi, Medina. Okay. Damanpreet. Nice. Now, students, you can put your answers into the chat and I will give you feedback on what you are saying. This is an answer here by Damanpreet. Damanpreet says, yes. Here's my passport. I used it for registration purpose 2 weeks ago. Please have a look. I'm not sure what the Y's is doing there, but please have a look. Okay, that's a good answer, Daman. Nice full sentence answer. Again, what's important here is that you're answering in full sentences right from the beginning. Some students hear that, oh, they're not marking you on these first few questions. Don't worry about it. You know, just be casual. Be like, yeah, sure. IELTS is not a casual conversation, everybody. If you want to get a high band score, you have to take it seriously. You have to think about it like a job interview or an interview with a supervisor at university. You have to put your best foot forward. You have to show your best English, okay? You're not talking to your pal. You're not talking to just some dude or some dudette. You're talking to an examiner who has a job to measure your ability for you to express yourself well in English, okay? Casual everyday language is about a band 7. Band 7 means you have good English. Casual, everyday, clear, fluent English is what we would consider good English, okay? If I'm the examiner and I'm going to say somebody is a band 7.5 or 8, which means they're very good in English, that means that I need to hear some precise answers with good vocabulary. If I'm going to give them a band 9, a perfect score, it means that they must be convincing, they must be informative, interesting, and using lots of vocabulary, grammar, and excellent content to respond to questions, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, next question, everybody. What is your full name? Again, professional English. Don't just say, I'm Karanpreet Singh, okay? You have to make sure that you say your name as if you are in a registration where you are with an authority and you professionally present yourself. So you would say, my given name is Karanpreet and my surname is Singh. Please call me Karan for short. Okay? And that would be a clear professional way. Make sure you include this part, what you want them to call you. It's part of their protocol. They have to ask you, what should I call you? So tell them. It shows them that you prepared for your test and that you're ready to do what needs to be done for the highest score. You're not looking at them as if they were an English as a second language teacher, because they're not. They're not there to get you to speak English, okay? Keep that in mind, everybody. It's an important tip here. I'm going to start with that one, okay? The examiner is not there to get you to speak. Okay? It is your job to show your best English and fluency. Okay? If the examiner is constantly saying, why? Can you elaborate? Can you give me an example? Could you tell me a little bit more? If you hear that often during your interview, it means that you're getting a lower score because they're having to push you to speak. They shouldn't have to push you to speak. Okay? You should speak voluntarily. All right? Okay, so again, what is your full name? Arun KS says, my name is Akila KS. You can address me Akila. Okay, you don't want to make these kinds of mistakes, Akila. First of all, it's a little bit awkward and there's a mistake in there. You cannot make mistakes introducing yourself for good band scores, okay? So you have to make sure that your English is very accurate for these first few questions. My first name, I'm guessing, or given name is Akila. And my surname initials, you should say your surname, are KS. Please address me as. Okay, request for the examiner instead of give permission. So please address me as Akila. All right. Okay, Bet in Your Way says, sir, I have a lisp problem, which I'm not able to pronounce words clearly. What can I do when you are registering for your IELTS exam? If you have any kind of speech impediment, a lisp, a stutter, a stammer, you have to indicate that during the registration when you're registering for your IELTS. Okay? All right, Angie. Good. We're getting some responses. This is what I love to see. The more you interact with me, the better I can help you. So Angie says, my name is Angie K, but my friends call me Angie, so please call me Angie. Angie, are you telling me that the examiner is your friend? Okay. Now, I've said this in the past too, and I think IELTS, some IELTS instructors have said, oh, you can say it this way. But in reality, this is not actually a good answer, Angie. Okay? Because the examiner's not really your friend. All right? It's kind of interesting, like, you know, we want to be a bit friendly with that examiner to feel comfortable, but ultimately the examiner's not your friend. They're a stranger. You're only there for 15 minutes. So in reality, this is kind of a weird way to introduce yourself. Does that make sense, Angie? Does that make sense, everybody? So if I say to a person, my name is Angie K, but my friends call me Angie, so please call me Angie, I'm basically telling them, you're my friend, you're my new friend. And if I'm your examiner, in all honesty, I'm kind of smiling inside at this point. I'm like, really? We just became friends? I highly doubt that, especially if I give you a band 5. You're going to be like, don't call me Angie, call me Mrs. K. You gave me a band 5. We're no longer friends. You can't call me Angie anymore. So it is a bit of a strange way to talk to an examiner, okay? So I would say something like, my name is Angie K. Please call me by my given name. If you want to create comfort without creating that awkward kind of concept, you can say, please call me by my given name, Angie. Okay, and that makes a lot more sense, right? Okay, everybody understand that? So, you know, and you're thinking, does it matter? Like, it's just, you know, it's just the introduction. It's just, you know, my name. It kind of does, right? Words have weight, and it's important that people remember that saying. Okay, this is a saying. I'm sure it exists in other languages as well. Let's put it up here. Saying, words have weight. I think a lot of people tend to forget that, and we don't really emphasize this important idea enough these days. I think people used to maybe a generation or two ago, but it should be emphasized more, and people don't respect this very important saying so much. Words have weight. Okay? What this saying means is that every word you say, every grammar that you choose, every idiom that you choose impacts your listener and the ultimate outcome. Okay, so every word that you use in your communication affects the end result of your situation. Okay, and whatever that might be, not just necessarily IELTS, right? Okay, so keep that in mind, everybody. Words have weight. I think if people paid more attention to this very critical kind of concept, we would do a lot better. Okay? All right. Shatvik, yeah, words have power is kind of the same idea. Words have weight means each word that you choose will change your end result. Okay? Hope that makes sense. All right, now the examiner will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and to make you feel comfortable. You should feel comfortable before you go into the interview. The interview is so fast. It's 12 to 15 minutes. If you're getting comfortable in the first 3 to 5 minutes, you're using 20 to 30% of your time just to feel comfortable. You need to feel comfortable before you go into your IELTS speaking exam, okay? That's why you have to start English way before you go into the exam center. So here's a very common question. What do you do in your free time? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. What do you do in your free time? During my spare time, I like to go to the gym for a good exercise to stay fit, or curl up with a fiction novel and immerse myself in a fantasy world filled with dragons and wizards. I'm reading The Hobbit right now. Okay? Now, this would be considered a band 9 answer. Why? It's got great vocabulary, explanation, and example. And it's all fluent, right? Using the question. So repeat after me. What do you do in your free time? During my spare time, I like to go to the gym for a good exercise to stay fit, or curl up with a fiction novel and immerse myself in a fantasy world filled with dragons and wizards. I'm reading The Hobbit right now. Okay. All right. Tharthek Miat says, sir, how to respond if I encounter an unfamiliar topic? Okay. No topic should be completely unfamiliar. IELTS chooses topics that they feel all people should be able to answer. So first of all, keep that in mind. It might seem unfamiliar at first, but if you think long and hard, you imagine your life, information that you have seen on the internet, in movies, I guarantee that you have some knowledge. So you have to think carefully. Get the examiner to repeat the question to make sure that you understood it correctly. Okay. All right. So again, what do you do in your free time? During my spare time, I like to go to the gym for a good exercise to stay fit, or curl up with a fiction novel and immerse myself in a fantasy world filled with dragons and wizards. I'm reading The Hobbit right now. Okay. So free time here, I'm paraphrasing it as spare time. Okay. Go to the gym for a good exercise to stay fit. Stay fit is the explanation there. Curl up with a fiction novel. Curling up means you kind of like pull yourself together, get into like this comfortable position. Okay. Immerse myself. To immerse means that you go deep into it. Okay. Filled with dragons and wizards. A wizard is like a magician. Okay, if you're not sure. So these are the kinds of vocabulary, collocations, expressions that you need to learn so that you can get those higher band scores. Okay. Alexander says, during my spare time, I like to watch movies in English, highlights of NHL, NBA games, and boxing or UFC fights. I watched the reels from the Bulls and Timberwolves. That was on Saturday. Okay, Alexander, that's good. Just make sure to include an example whenever possible. And I know you sometimes run out of space in the YouTube chat doing that. On our website, you hopefully won't. Okay, just make sure that you include the example as much as possible. Those examples can really help to build fluency and lexical resource grammar marks, so you get those higher and higher band scores. Okay. All right. So I usually prefer to listen to music because I'm a big fan. And today I was listening to music for 1 hour when I was on the way to my home. Anna, let's work on this answer slightly. So I usually prefer to listen to music when I have some me time. Okay. Reflect the question, students. Okay, so show the question in your answer. It helps. You should do that 90% of the time, especially when we talk to strangers. You will actually find that a lot of people who are good communicators, when they talk to a person for the first time, they use more details and they use the questions because it helps that person understand them better, especially when we don't have experience talking to that person. And that's not just in a language exam, that's in your native language. So pay attention to that. When you're meeting people for the first time, we tend to give more detail and more clarity in our conversations because strangers cannot feel our personalities as much and our communicative styles as much. So in the IELTS, you have to do that. You have to give that extra bit of detail. Okay? So Anna, I usually prefer to listen to music when I have some me time because I am a big fan, and even today I was listening to music for an hour when I was on my way home. Okay? And instead of repeating listening, and even today I was listening to some jazz, right? So you said music here, Anna, and because of that, I would not repeat music, but I would go into more details. So I was listening to some jazz. Okay. All right. Great. Next question. How did you get to this exam today? I took the Mito Suji train, 2 stops, and then I walked for 3 blocks to get to this exam center. It took about 20 minutes. Okay. Notice the number here, 20 minutes. Okay. As soon as you can, everybody, try to put a number into your communication because that helps you to remember that numbers are important. Okay. I'm going to do this like this today. I know you hear me say this all the time, but it takes practice. We really don't use numbers enough to explain ourselves in our everyday conversations. And we really should. I think it makes us sound more robotic and we just don't pay attention to it, but it's great for clear communication, okay? So use numbers as early as possible in your speaking exam and keep using them. Okay, don't forget, I've seen that often too where students, they remember at the beginning, they're like, oh, I need to use numbers. Oh, it took me 20 minutes to get to this exam center. And then they forget to use them by the time they get to part 2. So use numbers as early as possible in your speaking exam for clarity. It's called quantification. Okay. And continue to use numbers throughout the exam until the very end. Okay, that will really help you to boost your scores. Okay, all right, it will really help you to boost your scores. Okay. All right. Good. So, once you answer those first few questions, your name, your hobbies, how you got to the exam, okay, then they will ask you questions on a general topic. Let's see what triple 3A said here. Triple 3A said, well, I live quite a bit far from the exam center. I walked to the nearest bus station and took a bus. Brought me 2 blocks far from here, and I walked the rest of the way. Triple 3, you have to really pay attention to your grammar, okay? All right, let's fix some mistakes here. All right, triple 3 says, well, I live quite far, not quite a bit far, but quite far from the exam center. So I walked to the nearest bus station and took a bus. The number 56 bus brought me 2 blocks from here, and I walked the rest of the way in 5 minutes. Overall, it took about an hour from door to door. Okay. So again, make sure that you're recording yourself, writing it down just like you're doing right now, 333A, and then making corrections. Repeat after me, everyone. Well, I live quite far from the exam center, so I walked to the nearest bus station and took a bus. Now, even this part, we would simplify this. In natural English, it would be, so I walked to the nearest bus station and took a bus. So I walked to the nearest bus station and took, maybe we would say something like bus number 56 here. And took bus number 56. It brought me, then we can simplify this here. It brought me 2 blocks from here, and I walked the rest of the way. Okay, watch those past tense. All right, good. And then the examiner says, let's talk about languages. So you can't predict the topic. It can be any topic. And most often will surprise the candidate, like, oh, that's the topic of today's part 1. Okay. All right. So let's talk about languages. Why do people learn languages? Usually part 1 will be about you, but they might ask you kind of a general question to start off. And in this case, the question is, why do people learn languages? Okay, so the primary reason is for people to be able to communicate with others. More specifically, individuals learn foreign languages for work, to present research, or to better enjoy their travels. My grandma learned Spanish at 65 so that she can interact with locals when visiting South America. Okay? It's kind of true about my dad and my mom, not my grandma. But anyway, it doesn't matter. IELTS is not about the truth. Okay? So again, answer, explain, example. Why do people learn languages? The primary reason, again, watch the collocations here. Primary reason means like the main reason. The primary reason is for people to be able to communicate with others. More specifically, notice that connection there. Connecting professionally and naturally is very important. More specifically, individuals learn foreign languages for work, to present research, or to better enjoy their travels. No, etc. No, and so on. Okay? It's confusing. It has no value. So you don't need to say more. The IELTS examiner knows that there are probably some other reasons people learn languages. You don't need to say etc. and so on. Okay, it's not considered good language. Not just in English, not just in IELTS, but professionally. Professionally, it's not considered good communication to say etc. or and so on. Okay. So when you have 3 points, it's fine. Just stop there. Give an example. My grandma learned Spanish at 65 so she can interact with locals when visiting South America. Okay. Burke, our member, it's nice to see you here. Okay, Burke says, let's see what Burke's got for us today. Burke answers this question by saying, as the world is going more global. Okay, how can we say that simpler, everybody? As the world is going more global. So how could you say that? Oh, it's all good. It's good to have you here, Burke. How could we say that simpler? Okay, I would probably say something like due to globalization. As the world is going more global, it's okay. Be concise when you can be. So due to globalization, each individual has to, not is have to, but has to learn foreign languages to work. Also, most of the digital content is in English, which causes more and more people to learn it passively. So they can use the internet to the fullest. I had to use English just the other day to download the latest version of Microsoft Office. Okay, remember those examples, right? They're very powerful. Okay. All right. Next question. How often do you use English? The how often question should always signal qualification and quantification. Okay, what do I mean by that? I mean, like, say the word always, and then say the word at least an hour each day. Okay, so that would be the example of qualification followed by quantification. All right, so rarely, once a month for 5 minutes. Sometimes 20 minutes every couple of days. Okay, all right. Quantification, qualification. All right, so make sure to use both, especially with this how often. Really pay attention to that how often bit. Okay, all right. Fuang says, hi Fuang. Fuang says, I can say I immerse myself in English almost every day and every time at least a few hours. You don't need to say each day because you already said that. To both communicate and write emails to my colleagues. Okay, and I think what you're saying here, Fuang, is to verbally communicate and write emails to my colleagues. Remembering the example, I thought you would, Fuang. Fuang says, like this morning, I sent an email in English to my professor for the assignments. Okay, is that true, Fuang? Did you send an English email? Like this morning, I sent an email in English to my professor for an assignment. All right, nice. Yes, that's good, Fuang. We've got quantification, qualification. Well done. All right. Gurpreet has this to say. Well, we don't say pretty often. It's not pretty often. It's pretty often. But we wouldn't say pretty often. Pretty often is awkward English. It's not actually accurate, even if you hear it the odd time. And it's definitely not professional English. So that's what I mean about you have to use professional English for high band scores in the IELTS. If you say pretty often, the examiner is not going to be too impressed by that. Okay. Well, I often use English on a daily basis because I am cramming for IELTS, so it is the most effective for me to speak a lot in order to become fluent and proficient. Okay, I spoke English for an hour before coming into this interview. All right. Okay. Now it's better. Well, I often use English on a daily basis because I am cramming for IELTS, so it is the most effective for me to speak a lot in order to become fluent and proficient. I spoke English for an hour before coming into this interview. Now it's better. Okay, nice, Ed. Good to have you in here. All right. Let's jump a few questions here. Let's jump to this one. If you could learn another language, what would it be and why? This is my answer. Given the chance to acquire one more language in my arsenal of communication, I would love to speak Spanish at a native level, because it would allow me to travel to many places in the world, like Europe and South America, and communicate with millions of locals. This would greatly help me in my upcoming trip to Peru. All right. So if you could learn another language, what would it be and why? Given the chance, if you could, given the chance. I'm reflecting the conditional nature of the question. Always reflect grammar, everybody, in the IELTS. If you could learn another language, what would it be and why? Given the chance to acquire one more language in my arsenal of communication. It's kind of like playing with the language here. This is your band 9 level communication when you can play with the language. You can use this word arsenal of. Arsenal usually refers to weaponry, like weapons, but we use it in other contexts as well, like arsenal of communication, arsenal of skills or skill sets. Okay. I would love to speak Spanish at a native level because it would allow me. Now notice all of the conditions here. I would love to. It would allow me. Okay, all of those conditions, right? To travel to many places in the world like Europe and South America and communicate with millions of locals. Again, quantification, right? Millions of locals. This would greatly help me. So not just help, but greatly help me in my upcoming trip to Peru. Okay. All right, Chayani says, that's a nice question. I would love to learn Tagalog as I have a connection with relatives who are living in the Philippines. Therefore, that would be give plus point when communicating with them. Therefore, this would earn me brownie points. Chayani, earn me brownie points while communicating with them. This is an expression, Chayani, in English. What you had there before was a little bit awkward and confusing, and this is the best way to express what you're trying to say. Earning brownie points. It's a funny one, but it's true. English speakers will understand when you say this. So to earn brownie points means to get favor, more liking from another person. Okay. So I earned some brownie points with my girlfriend's parents when I fixed her dad's car, for example. Okay? All right? So earn brownie points. I earned some brownie points with my girlfriend's parents when I fixed her dad's car. Makes sense, right? Chinese says okay. All right. Awesome. Some nice communication. Great interactions there, everybody. Melina Rai, if I ever get a chance, I will probably learn French, as it is widely popular, and also I'm quite obsessed with how fascinating it sounds. It's a very beautiful language. Absolutely. Melina, I agree with you. Okay, nice. Sandra, develop. Naeem, good answers. Everybody, I want you to practice your answers, and I want you to practice them by volunteering for speaking. Okay? You can volunteer to speak with me. And the way you do that is you go to the website, aehelp.com. I'll put it into the chat. Carolina is faster. Carolina, thank you. Carolina just put the instructions in the chat for everybody. So you go to aehelp.com, go to your My Student account, click on Student Partner Speaking, enable your microphone in your browser, and then send me a message. So let me show you how to do this. It's quite fun, exciting, and it is the best way for you to improve. So you go to aehelp.com. Again, students, if you like these live classes, consider joining the premium version of the course by clicking the big red button and going through the checkout process. It's a one-time payment, doesn't cost a lot, and you get tons of help. Okay, so you go to your My Student account. In your My Student account, you have computer-based IELTS practice exams. You have a full online academic IELTS course. You have study plans, workbooks. You have lesson videos. You have over 200 lesson videos, over 100 speaking interview examples with subtitles, the ones that you see on our YouTube channel, but full versions with no advertising. And then you've got audio CDs, you've got additional services, and off to the right here that you see just above my head, you have the live IELTS class, which we will be using tomorrow. And you have the Student Partner Speaking, which we are using right now. That's just right above my head there. Okay, so click on the Student Partner Speaking. Enable your microphone, allow for pop-ups, make sure that you're using a VPN if you need to, and then you will see your peers in here. So you see AJ, Uthdom, Burke, Mandeep, Manikanta, Chayani, Parsa, Mujajidul, Hamidul, Temitop, Dewey, Isulu, Maya, Nishal, Fuang, Orman, Alexander. So we've got lots and lots of people in here. I'm going to put on my headphones. You will see me in here as well. You're going to see me in here as master. Okay. And you can click on the blue envelope. Okay, that's beside my name. Like here with AJ, there'll be a blue envelope beside my name. And then you can volunteer. Some people know exactly what to do, so they've already done that. Parsa has this number 2 here, meaning Parsa sent me some messages. Dewey, our premium student, also has this here, which means Dewey has sent me a message. Premium students, make sure to pay attention to each other, okay, because you can make some really good speaking partner connections. Let's check in with Dewey. Parsa, I'll circle back to you in a second. Dewey, are you ready? Okay. Dewey says yes. Excellent. I think Dewey missed his chance last week, so.
Hello.
Hi, Dewey.
Hi, Adrian. How you doing?
I am doing quite well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I am doing fine as well. It's a bit surprised since when I see you doing YouTube today.
Oh, yes, yeah. I'm doing a couple of makeup classes. I was away all week last week, so I figured I'd put in a couple extra classes to make up for some lost study time for students since I have the availability. But here I am, Dewey, and here you are. So that's fantastic. How is the start of your week?
Not bad, not bad. I mean, I just start my day as I usually do, but today in Paris is the weather is kind of doom and gloom. But I can work from my home today, so I don't need to go out today. So it's good.
Okay, so you're all comfortable in your home and taking life at its own pace, right?
Exactly.
All
You,
right.
you
Well,
got me
Dewey,
here.
good to have you here with me, and let's just jump into some of these questions.
Yeah,
Talking about languages. Are you ready?
yeah, I am.
Okay, let's do this. So, welcome to the speaking section of the exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner. May I see your identification?
Yeah, sure. Here it is. This is the passport that I used to register 2 weeks ago for the test. Please take a look.
Okay. For part one, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. What do you like to do in your free time?
Well, when I have some downtime, I really enjoy going out to take a stroll in the park near my house because it's helped me to stay healthy and active. Besides, I also love watching movies with my friends or hang out with them at the weekend to catch up with what they had done during the week.
Let's talk about languages. Why do people learn languages?
Well, I think the most important reasons why people learn languages is that they languages allow people to communicate between each other, and languages is one of the most useful skills to have these days, especially that we are living in a globalization.
How often do you use English?
Mm, I mean, I use English quite often. I think I would use English at least once every day for write emails to my coworkers because I work in a multinational companies. So I use English almost every day to communicate and get in touch with my colleagues.
Okay, I'm going to stop there. Okay. All right. Excellent. Dewey, that is outstanding. Again, so for those of you who are here regularly, you might have heard Dewey speak in the past. He's got some nice fluent language. Dewey, definitely, you're, especially with part one, as I've said this often, you're in that band 8 to 9 range for sure. So you're in that very good to expert communication. One aspect that shows, and this is one way, everybody who's watching, that you know that you're kind of in that band 8 or band 9 is when you can dynamically change or adjust grammar in an accurate way to make sense of what you're saying. So there were a couple of places there, Dewey, where I recognized as the examiner that you were thinking about what to say and how to say it simultaneously at the same time. And there was an interesting part there where you switched to using the past perfect. And you said, so I had done this. And it was very accurate, very quick, and very natural. And that does definitely show that very good to expert level of English understanding when you can quickly in real time speaking adjust the grammar and make sense of what you're saying. So that was really good. One quick tip for improving, Dewey, always keep this in mind, is instead of repetition or redundancy, especially at your level, go to an example. So here, the how often do you use English? And you said, I mean, I use English quite often. I think I use English at least once a day to write emails. And then you kind of just repeated that. So you said, I use English every day to get in touch with my colleagues, which is basically redundant. So instead of the redundancies, and this is an important tip for everybody, you don't want to have too many redundancies. If you it's called reiteration. If you reiterate what you say once or twice, that's okay during the interview. But if you're doing that often, it will lower your score from a potential band 9 to a band 8, because expert communication isn't overly redundant. So be careful with that. So to write emails every day, I would say today I wrote 2 emails, one to a colleague in Brussels and another to a colleague in Britain. Okay?
Okay, I got it.
Dewey, can you give me an example?
Yeah, today I just wrote an email to one of my colleagues who live and work in New York. And just before I got into this call, I just called one of my colleagues as well in San Francisco.
Perfect. Right? So now all those added vocabulary, scenario visualization of the context, that will guarantee you that expert level mark rather than kind of making the examiner guess what they should give you, right? You see where it's going? Okay. So keep those examples in mind, everybody. It takes practice, but it's very important. Dewey, thank you so much for starting off the week, and I hope there's some nicer weather for you ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adrian, and good luck with the best for the rest of your week as well.
Thank you so much, Dewey. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's give Dewey a thumbs up. He did really good. Always practicing. Dewey is always here to impress with his language skills. Parsa, I know I kind of mentioned you there, and then I kept going down the line. I love to see and hear new volunteers as well as returning volunteers. Parsa, are you ready? I will always check in with you. So hopefully, Parsa, you stayed in there and were able to communicate and reach out to each other. Thanks for the thumbs up, Gabriel and Kruti and Sandra. Yeah. Hi, Parsa. Sounds like you picked up, Parsa. It's like I can kind of hear something on the other end. Do you want to check your microphone and those settings? Okay, so especially for new volunteers, be sure that you check the system. A really good kind of practice is to contact another person in the list and then try to see if you can connect with them, okay? Let's try to reach out to Temitope. I'd like to give some new people a chance. It's always good to, check that everything is working. There are a lot of pieces, right? Parsa, okay, let's give Parsa a chance here. Hi, Parsa? No, Parsa, I still don't hear you. You're going to have to check your system, okay? Once you've done that, once you've confirmed with another person in the chat that it works, then please just text me. Don't call me, okay? It turns into kind of a difficult situation. Temitope, are you ready? Okay, hopefully Temitope is there. Again, and make sure you don't have like firewalls or ad blockers or other types of security software that could be blocking websites to work. A lot of them do these days, unfortunately. A little bit overly cautious. Hi, Temitope.
Hi, Adrian.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Awesome. Temitope, this is our first time, is it not?
Yeah, it is.
Awesome. Well, you're here. That's great. Temitope, where in the world are you?
UAE.
You're in the UAE. Cool.
Yes.
And why are you taking IELTS?
December 16th.
You're taking it on December 16th. And why are you taking IELTS?
Yeah, I want to relocate to Canada for a permanent residence.
Canada for permanent residency. Well, I hope you come. I'm here. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet you in the Victoria.
All right, Temitope. Well, let me help you a bit. Let me ask you a few questions. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, let's talk about languages. Where do you use English frequently?
Yeah, I use Vacancy because I communicate with my colleagues at work for proper communication. And this morning, I still communicate with my manager with English because he understands English better than other languages.
Who do you speak English to the most?
My colleagues at work, because these are the people I see frequently and I talk to each and every day.
How have learning languages changed?
Recently, language has changed globally because now people need to get more languages to move to a different kind of country. For example, if you want to travel to Germany, you have to learn a German language to a certain level before you could get a work and communicate with the locals in the Germany.
If you could learn another language, what would it be and why?
Uh, if I am chance to do that, I would love to learn French because it's a language I really love to hear and speak, and it will be helpful for me when I get to the Canada because there are some part of the Canada that speaks French as second language.
Okay, I will stop there. All right, that's really good. All right, band score wise, I think you would be easily at around the band 8 level. You're very fluent, and I can tell that you have a lot of experience with English. It's basically a native language to you. I couldn't keep up with you with my typing. No, you're very fluent. That was really, really quick, really good. Your accent is a little bit tricky for me to understand at times, but that's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with that. So your accent is a form of the English language, and it's my job to pay careful attention and to pick up what you're saying. So that's totally fine. Be careful with the content. So I think that you can actually even get a band 9. You just have to give a little bit more clarity and detail to the content. Your answers are a little bit fast. So here what the examiner is thinking is, oh, okay, wow, this person's really good in English. They use it all the time. They have many, many years of experience. But why aren't they giving me more kind of detailed information with more vocabulary? So that's what you want to do with your English, okay, with your interview, is just give them a bit more detail. So where do you use English frequently? Probably at work. That's where I speak with my colleagues and my manager in English. You can even say something like, more specifically, I use a lot of English during my lunch break in the cafeteria. I had a 30-minute conversation yesterday with my manager, Tim, during my break, right? So just a little bit more detail like that, and then I think you'll even get a band 9, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
I appreciate it.
I'm sure you're going to make it to Canada with that language. The IELTS will not be a problem, so just make sure all of your other pieces are in place, and then you'll be here in no time, okay?
Okay.
All right.
You.
All right. Thank you for volunteering. Temitope, have an awesome rest of your day and come back again, okay?
And you too.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Temitope. All right. So, yeah, students, just that tip that I gave Temitope, it's a really important one that when you have good English, and a lot of you do, I think a lot of people out there these days have quite good English skills. IELTS really comes down to content, so what you're saying, right? So really practice at home before you go to your test to make sure that you have some good specific content. So when they ask you a question like, where do you speak English the most, and you say, well, I usually speak English the most at work and when I go out and party with friends, because I meet people from other countries in both of these places, especially at work in the cafeteria. When I'm meeting my colleagues for lunch, I spoke with my manager, Tim, for 30 minutes about the basketball game, right? So I really give that detail to show that band 9, okay? All right, everybody? So detail matters, and it's important to have that detail, okay? All right. Let's take somebody else. Let's take Orman. Orman, are you ready? I can see, Orman, that you're saying you would love to give it a try, and I would love to give you a chance. So hopefully you're still there and we can connect. Jojo's saying, what should I do if I make some silly mistakes? Jojo, you can correct. You can say what I meant to say was, or just let me say that again. I'm a bit nervous. Let me repeat myself. Okay, so you can correct yourself. It's okay. It's a good idea to do that if you're making some mistakes. All right, Orman. Hi, Orman.
Hi, hello. I'm doing. Hello.
Hi.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can, Orman. I heard you clearing your throat there, getting ready to speak. That was great. You're like, all right, I'm ready to go. It's good. Orman, where are you?
I'm from Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan, nice.
Yeah, I think Amra is also this from the same country as from Azerbaijan, right? Our chat moderator.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct. And Orman, why are you taking the IELTS?
I'm actually not taking IELTS soon, but I'm just here to practice my English.
Fair enough. Okay, that's good. That's smart for sure. Okay, Orman. Well, let's do that then. Let's practice your English. Do you have any questions for me before I jump into some of these speaking part 1 questions?
No, I don't have a question, but I would like to appreciate you for your work that you do on YouTube, your live streams. That's very informative, you know.
Thanks, Orman. I appreciate you saying that. All right, well, let's jump in. Here we go. Welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test, and I'll ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better, and some questions on a general topic. What do you like to do in your free time?
I'm in my free time. Usually, I'm just reading some. I grab a book and I'm just reading some books. Then, I like to do some exercise.
Let's talk about languages. Why do people learn languages?
Well, the first reason people learn languages is for communication. You know, for example, you know, English is international language, and people can communicate with each other. It doesn't matter where you live. You know.
How often do you use English?
I use English twice a day. I mostly use English. You know, I have a good friend of mine in real life. We sometimes chatting, you know, with him in English. For example, this morning, I spoke with him in English.
Okay, I'm going to stop there and give you some feedback. Okay, so your band score would be about a 6 to a 6.5, so fluent to maybe a little bit more than fluent. I think your actual English is probably better, but I feel that you're a little bit nervous and it's surprising and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm actually talking right now in English.
Exactly.
Right? It's very important in the exam situation if you are to sit the IELTS exam in the future. And for everybody else out there, it's very important to control your nerves. So it's okay to be a little bit nervous, but you definitely don't want to be too nervous because then speaking becomes quite challenging, right? So and that's true for any language, even our own language. So, you know, when a boy meets a girl and the boy is super nervous to speak with the girl, he just starts to sound really weird when he's talking to the girl, right? So being really nervous makes us sound very difficult to understand, right? And that's totally normal. And the one way to overcome that is through this kind of experience. So what you're doing right now is a perfect remedy, or it's a perfect fix for that, right? The more you do it, the more confident you will get in just answering random questions in front of an audience, right? So this is great practice. So you're on the right track. Okay, more specifically for what you need to pay attention to. Okay, Make sure that you're always reflecting on what you're saying. So the way that you start, you have to clearly continue with that concept. I asked you, how often do you use English? And you said, I use English twice a day. So when you said that, what I was expecting as your listener is something like, I use English once in the morning when I go to university and sit in my philosophy class, and I use it again in the evening when I play some online video games where I chat with some of the other players in English, like Call of Duty, right? And then I'm like, okay, that's the twice, like once and twice, right? But that didn't happen, so I got really confused. Like you said, I use English twice a day, and then you said I mostly use English. I have a good friend in the real life, and then I was like, okay, I get that, right? And then you said sometimes we're chatting with him. Where is like who, like you and other friends? So it just got really confusing to understand what you meant by that. Do you want to try this one more time and let me know what those two situations are?
Yes, I would love to try.
Okay, so how often do you use English?
I use English twice a day. This morning I used some English with my friend, and and also I use sometimes English when I'm writing something.
In the evening?
Yes, in the evening.
Last evening, I wrote a long email to my professor.
Last evening, I wrote a long email to my professor.
Okay, and then that's your twice. So again, it's not, so your English is fine here. It's the content that was really confusing for me. Like, well, what was the twice a day thing about, right? So you have to be, it's good that you're quantifying. I liked the introduction that I use English twice a day. I like that. Just make sure that you clearly define what those two occasions are for you in the day, and then you'll do much better. Okay, that's the coherence part. All right.
Okay.
All right, that was really good. Come back and volunteer again, Orman.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
It was a great pleasure to speak with you. It was my first time, hearing your voice in chatting. So I always follow you, watching your live streams.
Thanks a lot, Orman. I appreciate that. I appreciate the feedback. Have an awesome rest of the day. Bye for now.
You too. Bye.
All right, that was Orman. What a good guy. Yeah, content, everybody. Content is king, right? Thumbs up to Orman. You can see people are commenting for you there, Orman, that you're doing a great job. That's really good. Okay, let's give Fuang a chance here. It says for me that my WebSocket's closed, so let me just refresh my page here. We've got Jojo. I had to refresh my page, everybody, because I think we're pinging the servers quite hard here, so... if you can refresh your page, then I can see you all again. There we go. Let me just reach out to Fuang. Fuang, are you ready? Fuang has had a bit of difficulty in the past with the connection, but figured it out, so that's great. Hi, Fuang. I can't hear you. Maybe there's a connection error here again for us. It's okay. Fuang, connect with me in the live class tomorrow. So everybody, I'm going to show you where our live class is tomorrow. Okay. Live class is here on the website. All right. You can join it there tomorrow at this time, and we'll look at speaking part 2 and speaking part 3 right now, and then we'll use the student partner speaking in the live class tomorrow as well. Make sure you check these systems. Okay, so go to the website, everybody, and register an account and check and make sure that it works for you, the different functions. Again, it's a very complicated system. You might need to use a VPN. You might have to change some of your browser settings, enable the microphone, etc. Okay, so pay attention to that. Okay, I have to run. I've got something coming up here pretty quick, but tomorrow we'll do listening part 3 and 4 a little bit earlier, so that'll be a listening class tomorrow. Join the premium version by clicking the big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. For the general IELTS, it's here. It's the green background. Okay. Click that big red button there to join the premium version. Carolina, thank you for moderating the chat. That was fantastic. I saw that you had a bit of work to do there, so that was really good. Fuang, I promise you that I will try again tomorrow. I can see Chayani's like, no. And Chayani, I will give you a chance as well, okay? Students, thank you so much for your interactions, for volunteering, for being brave. Again, tomorrow we've got one class on YouTube, one class on the website. Go to aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. And get into some great IELTS learning. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria for now, and I look forward to having you here with me tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in the world today.